Hey Exile, it's me Pat of Exile, and my tongue is itchy. I can't explain why, but that's not the point. The point is, the Huntress is not the only gift we're getting from Dawn of the Hunt. Other classes are getting new Ascendancies too, except the Monk. The Monk gets nothing, because of how are you gonna pull people away from Invoker? Come on, that guy is getting the nerf bet, and it kinda deserves it or not. I'm not a game designer. Anyway, the 3 new Ascendancies are the Lich for the Bitch of a Witch. The Witch. The Tactician for mercenaries who are smart enough they can make more money with friends. And the Big Sleeper build for the Warrior. It's the Smith of Kitava, who can stop wearing interesting gear in the chest to get a benefit that hopes you don't need base defenses because those benefits are actually kind of worth it. We will be talking about them in sequential order. The Lich. This is where I mention how much I hate the layout of the infographic. It's super useful, but the order you read them is not indicative of whether or not they're in the same node progression. Ruptures of the Soul is at 7 o'clock, for example, and Necromantic Conduit is at the 8 o'clock line. Anyway, we'll talk about the nodes on the same line. From left to right. Energy Shield, cool, leads into Necromantic Conduit, which gives you Unholy Might, granting an extra 30% chaos damage while you are not low on mana, which feels really good actually. You won't have as much spirit or minions as say the Infernalist, but the ones you do have will hit a lot harder. I know we tested stuff like this already, but I do want to know if in this instance having 0 out of 0 mana counts as having low mana. Though, I have no idea how to give me no mana. I think something in the warrior tree does it. Anyway, that then leads to maximum mana bonus and Dominion over Flesh, which lets you apply an extra curse as well as affecting hexproof enemies, which is funny now because I'm thinking about stacking Spirit carrying Blasphemy around for no reason at all. The second line 2v right starts again with Energy Shield, then leads into Rupture of the Soul. If you are an ally kills an enemy in your presence, they have a 1/3 chance to explode, dealing a quarter of their life as chaos, which is a lot of ifs and a lot of sentences for an extra explosion. I'm already not a fan. I like going through hoops for unique and interesting experiences or effects and damage levels that would not be achievable in any other situation, not possibly causing a corpse explosion. After that, it gives you an increase to a curse area of effect, then Blackened Heart, which gave Godzilla a stroke trying to read it. Let's go slowly. 4% increased magnitude of Unholy Might buffs you grant per 100 maximum mana. Okay, every 100 mana you have lets you give a bigger Unholy Might buff, which is not unlike Archmage. Neat. So the leftmost lanes work together well. Also, Archmage users can't stop winning. To the right of that is a 2-node that starts with Energy Shield and gives you Eldritch Empowerment. Spells that are not channeled deal 30% more damage and cost 30% maximum Energy Shield. And spending Energy Shield does not interrupt recharge, which is funny in case everyone and their brother is probably running Chaos Inoculation. Just a pure power line, and since it says cost, you probably can't cast a spell if you don't have enough mana. That's fair. My bet is it also affects spells cast via meta spirit gems such as cast on crit, so that's gonna be interesting. The middle lane gives you another Energy Shield boost, and the most lichy node, the Crystalline Phylactery. You can socket a non-unique jewel and increase the effect of the jewel you socket. At least that's the thing it reads as. Small chance it actually increases the effect of all your socketed jewels everywhere, but probably no, just the one on that node. Also, as a penalty, it makes spells cost more if your Energy Shield is drained. To the right of this is Energy Shield if consumed a power charge, which is nice, but also a bit confusing because it has the same icon as increased maximum Energy Shield. It then leads to Price of Power, which lets you eat power charges to deal 25% more multiplicative damage.
Nice.
The last lane starts with Energy Shield? I don't know, maybe if power charge is consumed, same icon, no lines or either way. Next is Soulless Form, which is just me on a Sunday, but now also damage bypasses your Energy Shield. You also lose all mana regeneration and instead gain mana regen equal to 6% of your maximum life, which honestly is a little interesting. Strength stacking Lich. Then it gives you extra life and eternal life. Your life cannot change while you have Energy Shield, so as long as you have Energy Shield, you are immortal. So that's extremely interesting considering the wording. I don't think I've seen your life cannot change while you have Energy Shield as like a thing, so I don't know what happens if stuff costs life instead of say anything else. Can you pay the cost if your life does not change, or cannot change rather? It would be very much in theme for a Lich to do that, so that's fun. Anyway, this is probably going to be coupled with Atziri's Disdain, a helmet that also lets some damage bypass your Energy Shield, which makes it even stronger, and turn some of your maximum life into more energy shield. So we're gonna have some math going for a bit there. Anyway, that's it for the Lich. The Tactician, leftmost lane, starts with an increased spirit. Oh boy, I'm already sold. It leads into a solid plan, which makes spirit gems with the buff tag cheaper to activate, which... From there it splits onto two paths. The leftmost one increases your presence size, and the next gives an ally exclusive buff. Allies in your presence gain attack damage equal to 25% of your main hand's weapon damage, which can make all of this extremely nutty. Also interesting thematically because the Witch doesn't really have any auras that make the skeletons stronger, except for that thing that turns your amulets into bonuses for your minions. To the Witch, the skeletons are her tools too. To the Tactician, his allies are his friends. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's proceed. The other path leads to an increased banner skill, which is a skill gem type I was aware of but never actually considered, followed by something that lets you place multiple banners. Since that presumably breaks a rule, placing a limited number of banners, I assume it can go to some good places. To the right of that is a lane that starts with another increase in spirit that leads into suppressing fire. Projectile damage now builds pin. Now I'm not sure if turrets have the projectile tag, or if indeed they inherit anything from you, but that would be funny. Next is an increase in pin buildup, then right where we want them, which prevents pinned enemies from actually doing anything. Good control, but it feels like I need to take an Ascendancy to do what other classes can do naturally, so I'm not that excited for this line. To the right of that is the, I don't know, gives more totem damage, minion damage? They all have the same symbol. Anyway, after that is Polish Your Gear, which gives you more stun threshold and ailment threshold based on your armor and evasion rating respectively. Then it gives you more armor and evasion rating than Staylight Use Cover, which is definitely one of the Ascension nodes of all time. You defend with 200% armor, and enemies have an accuracy penalty against you based on distance, which is like how accuracy works? Did it not work that way for enemies? It also caps your fizz damage reduction and evade chance to 50%, which... what am I missing? That doesn't seem that good. I mean, maybe they fix armor in this patch and this is actually very, very good trade-off, but I don't know, we'll see. To the right of that is definitely minion damage, which leads into Unleash Hell, which gives you a supporting fire skill. Cool on paper, I have no idea what their actual stats are, like what damage they can do. But it does scale on Stir, and accuracy scales with Dex. Last lane gives totem damage, and then Cannons Ready, which improves your ballistae. They have faster skill speed and only go off when you fire an attack projectile, which does that mean they fire as fast as you now? Could be neat, like a really violent conductor you become. And now, the Smith of Katava, which admittedly I thought was kind of garbage when I first looked at it, but then I looked at it again and it, I don't know, has potential?
What the fuck?
Anyway, you can invest into the super armored thing, so let's talk Smith's Masterwork. First, you can only equip a normal body armor while using this. I have no idea if it can be an expert armor or if an expert armor that has an implicit can be equipped. But I mean, probably, that aside, it can't be magical, so it has to have nothing on it. Maybe sockets? But that all aside, this can only be valuable and viable if what you can get out of investing 6 to 8 points of your Ascendancy is better than what your armor can drop. Alternatively, if the non-armor part of the Ascendancy is worth it, given you have armor that is functionally better than what you can craft out of Smith's Masterwork. For example, heatproofing is interesting because it is something you can't get out of armor suffixes or prefixes. You cannot get immunity to ignite on armor, so that node, super good. Padded plates and tantalum alloy are also impressive because they can cap your fire and cold resistance in one shot, or at least 2 shots. Support straps also gives a massive pop in strength, though whether or not that is better than the Titan node for strength purposes is build dependent. Molten Symbol is amazing because it turns into a cloak of flame, turning 25% of physical damage into fire, which Warrior is really good at resisting. Dedication to Kitava gives it an answer to chaos. The only real problem with all that good stuff is you can't get a mod that improves your armor defense number, which might be okay depending on what the changes to armor are. Now let's look at every other node. Leftmost line gives us increased fire damage and then Heat of the Forge, which grants fire spell on hit, which I assume lets you cast a fire spell when you hit. Priority amount of skill that charges up whenever you hit things, which is gonna be really funny. To the right of that lane gives us a fire resistance node that goes into a weird little hook. After that you get Cole's Stoker, which allows half the modifiers to fire resistance to apply to cold and lightning resistance. And then Forged in Flame, which lets your maximum fire resistance mods apply to cold and fire, which is pretty nutty. Honestly, pretty tanky, pretty cool, everything I want the warrior to be. Just this amazing superhuman thing that walks through everything thrown at him. That's the image. To the right of that is a line that starts with increased melee damage, then leads into against the anvil, which gives temper weapon, which gives your weapons explosions. I feel the need to remind people that since a lot of these things on the Smith of Kitava is a skill, or grants you a skill, I feel the need to say that those skills can get support gems. So lastly, you get a line that starts with extra minion damage that leads into living weapon. Totem weapon warrior, it's more likely than you think. Living weapon creates a copy of your weapon that lets your weapon fight with you. So the real question is, what can you slot into the living weapon skill? Can you give it skill gems? Can you double the benefit of stats on your living weapon? Do you double dip on it, rather? There's a lot of potential here and a lot of things that raise a lot of questions that make it very exciting to actually try out this Myth of Kitava. But for now, that's it. There's a few more things to discuss along with the patch notes when they do come out. So thanks for watching, thanks for passing by. Hope you enjoyed it. I am Pat of Exile, Patinator. Let's do better.